Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the Film Club podcast, where we deep dive into different aspects of cinema, directors, genres, actors, or franchises. It doesn't matter, because it's always fun at the Film Club. I'm Dean.
I'm Becky.
And this miniseries, we are talking about a beloved director, a spooky director, possibly Boo's favorite director, at least by the end of this series.
Possibly. We'll have to see.
That's right, we're talking about...
Guillermo Del Toro.
That's right, Guillermo Del Toro. And we're talking about his first film...
Cronos.
That's right. We're talking about Cronos from 1993. It is his first major film.
Mm-hmm.
He got off of doing, I believe, a couple of short films and a few episodes of Mexican television of a TV show that I actually can't pronounce the name of.
Well, that's a lot of shows.
A lot of shows. Most of them. Pluribus is rough. It's rough. And that's a current show. And that's in English, I think. But I have trouble pronouncing things.
I just thought you were having a stroke.
That is also very, very likely. But yeah, we're doing our mini-series on Guillermo del Toro. We announced this after our...
Year in review, I believe.
Year in review. And this got inspired because you fell in love with a certain recent film of his, I believe.
No, I don't know what film you're talking about.
Yeah, what was it? The Werewolf, or was it Creature from the Black Lagoon, or was it Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, or the Hobbit? I'm just listing off movies that Del Toro tried to make and didn't make.
Could have been any of those.
Could have been any of them. But yeah, we watched Frankenstein. Really, really good movie. We kind of hope it wins a couple Oscars coming up.
Absolutely, all the Oscars.
Yeah, maybe not all of them, but
all the Oscars.
A good handful, a healthy showing.
All the Oscars.
And watching that, I believe I was surprised when I asked you what you thought about Del Toro, because I guess I didn't realize you haven't watched a lot of Del Toro's movies, right?
No, I think I've only seen Crimson Peak in its entirety. I've seen that a couple of times, and I've seen bits and pieces of Pan's Labyrinth, bits and pieces of Shape of Water. So Frankenstein was the one that I really fell in love with, and I've watched it multiple times. So, yeah, I want to get into more of his works.
Again, that's so surprising because I feel
I'm not like you, where, you learn about a director and you're like, I have to watch every movie this director's ever made.
Well, that's actually the thing, because Del Toro, he's a director that, okay, if you made a Venn diagram of things Guillermo Del Toro is interested in.
Yeah.
And then another circle where it's things Dean's interested in. It is a perfect circle. He is inspired by the same weird, funky stuff. He likes the same weird, funky books. Every interview I've seen of him is like, yeah, so that's... Yeah, no, 100% agree. You got this, Del Toro.
You've never made me tacos.
Would you want me to make you tacos?
If you made them like Del Toro makes tacos, yeah. Did you see the Sundance stuff?
No.
So he was at Sundance this previous weekend. I know this is going to be coming out a little bit later for you guys, but when he was at Sundance, I think he was doing... Was it Cronos? They might have been celebrating one of his earlier films, an anniversary of it. And then they had like an after party. They had mariachis, and he was singing with the mariachis. And then they had like fresh tacos that they were making. Well, he goes behind, the counter, and he starts helping the chefs make tacos, and he's handing out tacos to people. So he was singing. He was having a party. So, you gonna make me tacos?
I can definitely make you tacos. Sounds like Del Toro is a solid dude who knows
Absolutely.
his way about some tacos.
Yes.
But I guess it's a thing because I felt like Del Toro kind of lined up perfectly with like filmic aesthetics you really like, because he's more gothic and spooky than say someone like a Tim Burton.
Yeah.
And he deals with more like monsters as like the heroes kind of thing, which you're a big fan of. You love like the Universal monster movies. You see the tragedy of the creature, and it's like that is Del Toro's oeuvre. Like that's his bit. And that all kind of starts here in Cronos.
Yeah.
Right. And I'm assuming Cronos is also, you've never even heard of the movie, right?
I think I've heard it because of your crusade to buy all the Criterions that exist.
Oh, I'm on my way.
So I'm sure I was with you when you bought Cronos. The name sounded familiar. I just didn't know who the movie belonged to.
Well, that's the thing. I don't own Cronos, and also this is the thing I was getting at. The perfect circle. I think I've only ever seen half of Del Toro's work. I think I've only ever seen his popular stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So Cronos is kind of a new watch for me.
Okay.
I saw it once in film school, which would have been, God, I'm so old, about 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And that was the last time I saw it, and I was like, oh, this is like really cool. It's artsy. It's like a kind of like a dark fantasy thing, but it's set in, at the time, like modern day Mexico, and Ron Perlman's in it. Ron Perlman's great.
That was the most shocking of this.
Seeing a young Ron Perlman.
Yeah.
Which he was coming off of the TV show Beauty and the Beast, I think.
Wow.
Yeah, which, okay, Beauty and the Beast. Ron Perlman, perfect beast. Perfectly.
I either say perfect beauty. I'm like, I agree.
He has an interesting face.
He does.
Okay. Like, I guess we're not going to get into the looks and whatnot, but he is like a very specific look for an actor in general.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's probably helped his career, because you can't, it's almost the same thing with like a Steve Buscemi, right?
Yeah.
Steve Buscemi has a very specific look where it's like, if you need a type of character, a type of actor, you can only get him.
Well, I mean, I'm going to always pull it back to the great late Norma Desmond. We used to have faces. And it's been a while since we've had actors that, just, they have the look.
Well, or an actor where you look at them and they're not a GQ model or an Instagram model, where they're just like, you are the most generically pretty person I could see on a screen. Where's the character? Where's somebody who looks like Gene Hackman? Gene Hackman I don't want it to be weird. Like Gene Hackman, Ron Perlman, even Steve Buscemi, they are like handsome people. Like, it's a thing where they just have a very striking appearance, where it's like, oh, they look like people, like human beings, and not somebody who was
photoshopped,
or not even photoshopped, just grown in a lab to be a movie star, But Ron Perlman's in this. Really weird.
I think that was the weirdest for me. Just, I wasn't expecting it. I didn't know what to expect with this movie. And because it was such an early movie, I'm like, okay, it's going to be a lot of actors that I've never heard of before. And if it's, set in Mexico, there's a lot of Mexican movies that I haven't seen before. So it might have been actors that I've never been introduced to. And
it's going to be a small, kind of intimate indie movie.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, I'm expecting to go in knowing nobody. And then it's like, Ron Perlman. Like,
the fuck are you doing
I'm like,
here?
I know you.
It's crazy because he, so when Del Toro's writing the script, right? So he writes the whole film for Mexican audience. It's going to be totally in Spanish, and he actually raises $2 million to film it. And I think at the time, it was one of the most expensive Mexican films produced. And one of those things is like, this is his first feature film. How is he accumulating enough to be the most expensive Mexican film ever made? Granted, $2 million. Today, Robert Downey Jr. ain't getting out of bed for $2 million, all right? But at the time, that's a lot of money. 1993? Yeah. And I guess he manages to rope in Ron Perlman to play the villain of the film, or the henchman to the villain, the heavy. Angel de la Guardia, I believe?
Yes.
God, I'm so good at this. Ropes him in, and he likes Ron Perlman so much, but Ron Perlman's Spanish is terrible.
It happens.
I have a question, because my Spanish is actually bad. Does Ron Perlman speak bad Spanish in this film? Like, can you tell it's not good Spanish?
Well, it's not that it's not good Spanish. It's just, you could tell that he doesn't speak the language. So it's just like, okay, it's somebody that understands, some key phrases and how to get around and how to ask questions. So it's serviceable. But if he had spoken Spanish the entire movie, it would have been a struggle.
You would have pegged it as, that guy doesn't know Spanish. He learned Spanish.
Yeah, they're feeding him the lines so he could speak it fluently and conversationally. So it's like, I can see why Del Toro was like, let me do you a solid, and you could speak in English.
And that's the thing. He rewrote the whole movie for Ron Perlman to be in the film, to play the villain. And
because he's in it the entirety of the movie. Yes,
and I think that's a kind of a good point to it. We're going to get into talking about Ron Perlman specifically, because he is going to come up. But I guess that's a good leeway to talk about the actual main character of the film.
Jesus Reese.
Jesus Reese, who's played by
Federico Lupi.
So he plays Jesus Reese, who is this antique dealer who comes into possession of this old statue of
Michael the Archangel.
Okay. As you can tell, I don't know a lot of Spanish. I also don't know a lot about Catholicism. I'm kind of working my way through this one. Those two things are going to come up a lot in this movie. Like a lot.
And the rest of his films.
So much of Del Toro's work is like, so I just want you to know that Catholicism, kind of a big deal. And Spanish? That's his whole filmography right there. And also monsters.
It's almost like you haven't known me for 12 years.
Exactly. I'm just so surprised you haven't been like, this guy gets me. Catholicism and Spanish. That's what we're here for.
Well, now I know. Now I know that, me and Guillermo Del Toro are, kindred spirits.
Exactly. But Jesus Reese, antique dealer, comes into the possession of this
Archangel statue.
And he finds inside it this device. It's this little golden scarab thing. It's probably about the size of a baseball.
Yeah, it's pretty big.
And it's solid gold with this gem on it. And it has this weird clockwork mechanism inside, which is going to come up in a lot of Del Toro movies.
And it is not candy.
It is not candy. We thought it was candy.
Well, Aurora thought it was candy.
Aurora.
That's why he goes, no, Aurora, it's not chocolate. And I was like, I would have thought so too at that age. I'm like, is it just wrapped in chocolate?
It happens. You looked exactly like Aurora at that age. It's a thing. You're thinking, you're like, possibly?
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
Not the haircut, but yeah, a little bit.
And Aurora is his granddaughter who kind of helps him around the antique shop, and he's kind of her best friend and that situation. It's a very like warm, loving relationship.
Yeah.
And this Cronos device is a device designed by an ancient alchemist who devised it to basically create eternal life. And Jesus accidentally activates the device. It affects him, and now he starts to transform into a immortal being, which is code for a vampire. This is a vampire movie.
A vampiro.
This is a vampire movie by way of art film.
Yeah, and I mean, we set up the whole Ron Perlman part of this where we have... I mean, this guy kind of looks like a crackhead that goes in there and he starts pulling apart the wrappings on the statues.
Yes, because I guess Angel de la Guardia, who's Ron Perlman, his uncle...
Just listed as De La Guardia.
He is he owns this... I don't even know what building it is.
It's just a massive factory.
Yeah, I couldn't tell what kind of factory it was, but he lives in this hermetically sealed room in this giant factory because I guess he's dying.
Yeah.
And he wants to find the Cronos device to achieve eternal life and live forever. And Angel is the one in charge of finding it, and Angel's way of finding it is sending out these crackheads to go and look through every pawn shop to try and find this statue of Archangel Gabriel. Or Michael. Not Gabriel. Michael. And
they just happen to find it. The crackhead makes a phone call, and then we get Ron Perlman coming in to deal with Jesus.
Yeah.
And he seems friendly, and Jesus is kind of like, I don't get what's going on with this statue, but sure. But I'm keeping the Cronos device. I'm not going to let you have it.
It's the fucking size of a baseball, and it's made of solid gold. Yeah, I'm keeping that fucking thing.
Until it eats your hand.
Until it eats my... well, I wouldn't have fucked with it like that. I would have gone right into the burlap sack with the dollar signs on it and to the bank, all right? I'm making... Boo. If I find that Cronos device, living on Easy Street. Retire the podcast. Retire down to Boca. It'll be beautiful.
No, you'd set it off.
I would probably fuck with it a little bit. I probably would. But I really like the setup of this movie because the opening of the film is like the origin story, and they're talking about the ancient alchemist, and they set up the Cronos device right away.
It's like the Mummy.
Exactly. Hundreds of years ago, and all this stuff about this alchemist who creates this device, and it possesses people, and then 100 years after the alchemist disappeared, there's this bank collapses and they find the still breathing alchemist buried under the rubble. Ooh, and it's like, okay, cool, spooky. We like this.
Yeah.
And then we get into like Grease and Aurora and the relationship, and it's like, okay, we went from The Mummy to like Leave It to Beaver, like a nice family little outing. It's very cute, and it's all done with like this what's the music? Because it goes
like guitar,
or it's like, it's not like mariachi music. What is it? Like flamenco music?
I guess flamenco,
or it's a tango, right? There's a tango like score to the film. It's this mix of like this gothic like Hammer style horror film score, and then it goes into this like Mexican tango score that separates the two, and it's like, this is just like a fun kind of jaunt we're going on. This is kind of nice. And then once it starts getting to the Cronos device and it infecting Jesus and it becoming
an addiction
and it becoming this vampire film, and it's like, this is okay, I'm along for the ride, let's go. Because the beginning of the movie, I think, is the best part. I think the
alchemist, or just, his everyday life.
The alchemist, basically all the way up until the bathroom. All that, like that first half of the movie, I think just absolutely slays. It's great. And then
once we get like zombie version of him,
the zombie version of him kind of doesn't do too much for me, which is weird because a zombie vampire come back from the dead for revenge, that sounds like it slaps. I feel like I would make that movie. But for me, it just kind of, it's almost like once we get to the zombified version of Jesus, it feels like the movie kind of slows down and we kind of know where the movie's going after that. Because as it's leading up to it, I guess we can talk about how it's leading up to it. Because he turns into a vampire, right?
Yeah.
But what do vampires want more than anything?
Water and a cool breeze.
Okay, the other thing.
To make out with their wife on the dance floor?
Okay, the other thing.
You mean that horrible thing that I'm trying to push out of my brain?
Yes. The most terrifying moment of this film.
For me.
For many.
For many.
So.
Well, blood, obviously.
Blood.
But I mean, going to the extent of, licking it off of a bathroom floor.
We had to set this. We have to set this scene up, okay? Because
I'm scarred for life after that. Just so unsanitary.
Because Jesus, he gets infected and becomes this like vampire, right?
And doesn't know that he's a vampire.
He doesn't know he's a vampire. He just knows that he's starting to feel younger.
Yeah.
Because Jesus is probably, I don't know, in his 70s in the movie.
60s, 70s, yeah. And, one morning he shaves off his mustache and it's like, my God, you look like you're 45, 50 years old.
Again, guys out there, if you want to look younger, take the mustache off. It takes 10 years off your face.
But ask your partner first.
Exactly.
Don't just, spring it on us and then it's like, oh God, what did you do to your face?
You're like, oh God, it looks so smooth and strange. But he starts feeling younger, more vibrant, more full of life. But he also starts having the cravings. Yeah. He starts seeing, the bloody like meat in the fridge, and he's
the meat that's marinating for dinner tomorrow, and he's just like,
God, I just want that. And he's at this New Year's Eve party, right?
Which looks pretty lit.
Really lit, really nice. And
his wife is a dance instructor.
And she teaches people how to tango and all this other stuff, and they're having this nice dance, and he is just feeling himself, and she's like, ho, Jesus, ho. And then he sees a guy run off to the bathroom because he's having a nosebleed. Yeah. Probably from too much cocaine. And
it was the 80s.
It was the 90s. Or wait, no.
In the movie, isn't it like...
In the movie, I think they're celebrating like the New Year's at like 96 or something. It's really weird because I think the movie takes place a few years in the future.
I don't know. I thought I remembered seeing 80s in the New Year's Eve thing, but it could have been 90s.
Who knows?
Cocaine was still a hell of a drug in the 90s.
One hell of a drug. But he goes into the bathroom and he's like lining up the blood on the sink.
Well, I mean,
ready
this guy is just having like the nosebleed of the century. I have never seen someone have a nosebleed this bad. Granted, when I used to have nosebleeds as a kid and I'd wake up to it and I just, my pillow would be covered in blood. I'd be like, oh my God, what happened? But not to the level of this man.
Just pouring.
This man, I mean, I think that was a hemorrhage. That wasn't a nosebleed.
Man was bleeding out. He was dying on his way to the bathroom.
And he's just like, yeah, I'm okay. This happens every now and then. Like, are you sure?
You sure don't need to go to the hospital?
Transfusion, something? Like, this is a lot of blood that you're bleeding.
It's kind of funny because it's a part of it. Because, again, it's about vampires and all this other stuff. But it's also like, that's almost like a little unrealistic. It's like, that's enough blood where I'm like, he would probably be woozy.
Yeah.
He would probably need to like we should probably like get you out of here, take you to a doctor or something.
Yeah, he cleans up his nose and he's like, well, got to get back to the party now. Like,
back to that sweet lady cocaine.
Like, sure. And Jesus is just like, now's my chance. Because he's gotten close, but he never takes the bait.
Yeah, he's going to lick the blood off of the sink, and then a guy comes in and
which is
terrible.
That's terrible, too.
And it's going to get worse.
Yes.
And a guy comes in, and he like, oh, blood over here. Oh, let me wash this off. And washes it away, and then
he's
leaves.
like, fucking people can't clean up their damn mess. And it's just like, there he is putting his hands in someone else. I'm like, no, don't do that either.
I love the little subtle thing. He pushes the blood off into the sink, into the water, and then he doesn't wash his hands afterwards and just leaves. So he just has like somebody's like wet blood on his hands, and I'm like, that's so gross. That's so unsanitary. See? And then Jesus is finally alone. And he's like, no, the blood, it's gone. Oh, wait. There's a nice little puddle.
on the ground.
On the ground. And let me just get down onto this nice, dirty bathroom floor and just get my tongue on it and just lick it up. And it is...
disgusting.
So gross. It is so gross. It is... Okay. I have a question for you. Okay. So this is a vampire movie.
Yeah.
This is a movie that has, we've already spoiled, a zombie grist in it. It has blood and guts and all the fun stuff of zombie movies. Okay, I guess not guts, but it has blood.
No, yeah.
Is this a horror film? Or is this the only, like, skeevy part of the movie?
No, it's a horror movie.
Okay, is it scary?
No. Well, I mean... no one should ever lick a bathroom floor, ever.
See, but that's...
or a sink, ever.
But that doesn't scare you. That just grosses you out.
No, that scares me. That terrifies me.
That terrifies you?
I watched it quietly, but in my head, I was screaming for like 10 minutes.
You're looking at it like, no, Jesus, no. Mm-hmm. So, okay. But
this is a horror movie, yeah.
Okay, it's a horror movie because of like the genre and the tropes it's working with, the cliches it's working with. But I guess, is it scary? Because there's no point in the movie that it scares me. And the scene where it's, he's licking the blood off, this kind of triggers it to me because I'm like, this is the only like crawl in my skin moment of the film. But I wasn't scared. I was grossed out. And
were you not scared about all the funeral home stuff?
No, not particularly.
Well, I mean,
it's a movie. It's not real.
Yeah, but I mean... wasn't it scary how just, they treat the dead? It's just like, come on now.
No, that was like fine, just throw them around there. We're going to get to the mortician guys in a second because after the bathroom stuff, that's when Angel shows up as a whole thing.
Yeah.
But again, getting to it, it's a very interesting movie because it's not particularly scary, but I also don't think that's Del Toro's intention. Mm-hmm. And I don't think that's his...
because it's almost like a thing with his career where, humans are really the monsters.
Yes, and that is shown here. Because
Jesus is, turned into a vampire zombie, and he's not the scariest thing in this movie.
Oh, not even close. Because as this is happening, he's transforming. De La Guardia, the uncle, he figures out that Jesus has to have the Cronos device. He understands that... well,
there's a whole conversation because...
yeah.
De La Guardia, Angel, he sends his meth heads to go tear apart Jesus' shop.
Yeah.
Leaves a note, says, hey, I work all night. So Jesus shows up with the Cronos device.
Yeah.
Well, I'm doing air quotes because, we think it's the Cronos device. Mm-hmm. So De La Guardia and Jesus have a conversation. And he's explaining what the Cronos device is. And Jesus is getting the information of, okay, this is what I found, and this is why I'm starting to feel different.
Yes.
And that's when De La Guardia figures out he's been bitten by the device or, altered by the device.
Basically, the device is now used goods.
Yeah. And it's just this thing where De La Guardia still wants the device. And he tricks him into thinking he has it. Obviously, he doesn't. And it still turns into this chase of, I know you've been altered by this device, but we can both use it at the same time. Mm-hmm. And it's this premise of, you need to bring him and the device back to me.
Yeah, because I guess that's also the trick of the Cronos device, is the Cronos device does turn you into a vampire, but it's a thing you have to keep hitting
you have to keep feeding the device.
You have to keep feeding the device to keep yourself going. Mm-hmm. And that's something that gets into more of like the thematic element of the movie, because Del Toro wrote this at a time in Mexico where drug addiction was like really rampant, and people were like ODing on heroin and a lot of other like substances down there. And he rolled that into the film and made the Cronos device this analogy for addiction, for heroin, I believe. And that also gets back to the licking up stuff off the floor, because, if you're rearing for a fix, you'll do anything for a fix, even licking it off the bathroom floor.
And I mean, for this far into the movie, I mean, we've seen his restraint. I mean, you could have attacked the meat in your fridge. You could have attacked your wife. I mean, they're making out on the dance floor. I mean, he could have just, moved over to her neck and, taken a bite, and we would have had that first hit.
Yeah. And I think that's the thing. He is, because up until that point, you would describe him as a functional addict.
Yeah. It's like you see the need to just attack, but he's so very restrained and very mentally strong that he refuses.
He can still function.
Yeah.
And that's the thing, because once, the Angel and his uncle figure out what the game is, in the bathroom, Angel shows up and beats up Jesus.
Yeah.
And takes him out to the cliffs, and he's like, "Where's the fucking device?" And he beats the shit out of Jesus. Yeah. And so, Ron Perlman in the film, he's supposed to be playing the gruff, the tough,
the
muscle, the henchman. He is absolutely playing this like he's in a Naked Gun film. He is so fucking funny in this movie. When he's beating up Jesus and he's gonna throw him off the cliff, and it gets like stuck, and he's like, "Oh man, we gotta do," and he steps back, he starts doing jumping jacks, he gets down to a 3-point stance, and he starts stretching out. I'm like, what bullshit are we doing here?
I thought you were gonna talk about the nose cards that he walks around with.
I love that, because it kind of comes up at the end. Every person he meets in the film, he asks, like, "Hey, can I ask your opinion on this?" And he pulls out a card and holds it up to his nose for a nose job. And he's like, "Which one do you like best? Like, this one is kind of pointy. Do you like the hook one?" And he's getting opinions on plastic surgery. And then when you see him by himself, he's alone in a locker room, like reading a pamphlet on nose jobs, and he's listening to a fucking tape recorder being like, "So you're about to change. Make sure to prepare yourself, because the face you'll see in the mirror is going to be more beautiful than what came before." And it's like self-help tapes about plastic surgery.
And that's why I was so confused. I'm like, is the nose job because it's something that you want? Are you using this to, basically be a disguise? Okay, my uncle, he's going to slip on the banana peel one of these days, and I don't have to be his crony, and I'm going to inherit everything he has, and I'm going to run off and start a new life. I'm like, what is this with this fascination with the nose job?
So it comes up later, because Angel kills Jesus. He thinks he does. He puts him in the car, throws him over a cliff. Jesus has a very beautiful little monologue about his experience of dying. It's really nice.
Yeah.
And he goes back to his uncle, and he's like, "I'm just going to tell him I chased him, and the car slipped off the road. It'll be fine." And then you smash cut to him getting his nose broken by his uncle.
Yeah.
And then I think what it is he keeps asking about the nose job because he knows his uncle breaks his nose with his cane. So he's always like, "Okay, which nose should I get next? Because I'm going to have to replace my nose like I know for a fact in the next 3 weeks.
I guess. I don't know.
But I think that's what it is, because his uncle keeps busting his nose. That's why he keeps getting the plastic surgery, which is a fun little thing that's not called attention to why he wants the nose job.
Mm-hmm.
But I think that's what it is.
Okay.
But he does go back to tell his uncle that Jesus is now dead, and he didn't get the Cronos device. And Angel's like, just please die. Just please fucking die. And De La Guardia is like, go and search, find it, goddammit.
Well, not only that, he keeps asking, was his heart, pierced? Was it crushed? So I'm assuming, like with most vampires, the heart needs to be destroyed. And Angel's like, yeah, it
wasn't beating.
The car accident was really bad. Of course it got crushed. And De La Guardia is just, determined he's still alive. Well, alive and dead. It's a complicated thing.
They would call it the living dead.
The living dead, yeah. And I mean,
Nosferatu.
Angel goes to his funeral, and then we get that, I think I laughed the first time I saw it when he plugs his nose while Jesus is, in his coffin, and he's like, no, he's not, he's
not breathing.
He didn't. You're like, oh, I've been trying to, hold my breath this entire time. So he's like, good enough for me.
Speaking of funny bits, the morticians, right? Because you try to like goad me into talking about these guys.
Well, I mean, you kind of can't not talk about them.
It's a thing where I realized about halfway through the movie, because I thought it was Ron Perlman just kind of like, oh, I'm gonna be a ham because it's like I'm in this movie. I know I'm gonna be like the one handicapped because I don't speak like the language that I have to speak half my lines in. So I'm just gonna play big and it'll be fun. And then we get to the morticians, and then I realized Del Toro is making a horror comedy. These guys are fucking hilarious. They're like, he's setting up. He's like, I'm a fucking artist down here. You see what I do with this? They're like, he's getting cremated. They're like, what? Why did you tell me before I did all this fucking work? What is it? And it's fun. He has the banter. The mortician has the banter with like the priest, and the priest has the banter with. It's very funny. It's very funny. I like their little like Laurel and Hardy bit.
I swear, if someone had treated my grandfather like that when he passed, they would have gotten like one of those cowboy punches, where they go flying through the saloon doors. Like, do you think this is a fucking joke? You want to fucking go? They would have gotten
like Rock Hudson and Giant.
Exactly. They would have gotten like a hit like that. But it was funny at the same time. But it was very complex feelings. Like, hey,
you're like, that's so disrespectful.
Respect the dead, but also it's kind of funny.
Well, here's the thing. So Del Toro, because Del Toro does what Del Toro does.
Yeah.
He actually worked in a mortuary for like 2 weeks or a month or something like that.
I thought it was a couple of months.
It might have been. I don't know the exact amount of time, but I know he worked in a mortuary literally just to do research on how bodies are processed. And he says he took all the mortuary, mortician, coroner, all that stuff directly from his experiences working there. So there's a guy down there who just like, oh, time to work on this body, and takes his fucking gum out and puts it on the dead guy's nose and just starts working. And he's like, all right, let's back to work, and just starts to take the fucking gun.
No, I think the most unsettling thing was when the coffin's about to, go into the incinerator, the belt.
Oh, yeah.
Because he has a hard time getting the incinerator to light. And he's like, oh, okay, I've got to go, mess with the pipes, so that the gas is flowing through the incinerator. And then, he doesn't notice that the coffin's propped open now. He's just, he's feeling himself at this point.
Yeah.
But he finally gets it to light, and then he hits the button so that the coffin could be loaded into the incinerator. But this bitch just takes off like, goes, right into, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, there's no like, okay, it's somber, it's going in there. It's just like, from 0 to 100, like, oh my God.
He's got work to do, just throw the guy in there, he'll be fine, Put him on medium high and let it simmer for the night.
Well, I mean, that is the next joke.
Yeah. Oh God. Again, Del Toro made this as like a comedy, right? Like,
I mean, it's not supposed to be like, like a serious film.
It's more funny than it is scary. But what it's trying to be, and what I think it succeeds in the third act, is it's very heartfelt.
Yeah.
But
well, I mean, it's heartfelt throughout.
Yes, and that comes from Jesus's relationship with Aurora, and that comes up right after the mortuary.
Yeah,
because Jesus is back from the dead,
and Aurora... he's managed to escape the incinerator. Angel thinks that he's gone for good.
Yes, and he manages to get into Aurora's like clubhouse, playhouse.
Well, first he calls his wife.
That's right.
He's able to, get out to the street. He's got to cut open his lips because they sewed his lips together. Mm-hmm. And he calls and he's able to, say his wife's name. And because she's grieving, she's thinking she's hearing things and she just, hangs up the phone.
Yeah.
And it's the first time that we really see Jesus frustrated.
Yes.
Despite being turned into a vampire and then being killed.
That wasn't the worst of it.
And he's just like, he's just pissed.
He's like, God darn it.
But then he goes home, and then Aurora just like welcomes him with, open arms because that's Grandpa.
Yes, and see, that's the thing. Aurora is like a pure innocent in the film. Mm-hmm. She doesn't view... Because, again, Jesus is risen from the dead. He's a vampire. He's a monster. But she doesn't see the monster. She sees her grandfather. She sees the person underneath the visage.
I mean, we also don't know her backstory either. Clearly, her father is Jesus's son.
Yes.
But we don't know why her father or her mother aren't in the picture. Grandma and Grandpa are taking care of her.
Yeah, and I'm very confused as to that part because Jesus talks about his son in the past tense, mm-hmm. so I assume they die. Mm-hmm. But there's no explanation as to what that is. And also, I don't think Aurora even speaks.
She never speaks in the movie.
So I don't know if that's related to, like,
maybe
traumatic event.
She saw her parents die, or she was with them when they passed. We don't know. And
it's a thing where it makes Aurora a very interesting character because mm-hmm. we don't know how she got there. But it also helps make her a easy audience surrogate because she doesn't speak. She's a very, like... not a blank character, but she's easy to see the film through her eyes.
Yeah.
Because there's not a lot of, like, characterization there, right? Mm-hmm. And watching it, up to this point, she's just been somebody who's observed her grandfather's struggle, mm-hmm. right? She saw him take his first hit from the Cronos device, and mm-hmm. she, like, hid it from him, like, granddad's smoking and teachers said smoking causes cancer, mm-hmm. so I hid his cigarettes. It's that kind of thing. And then when he comes back, she's so excited. Grandpa's mm-hmm. back. And he can't walk out in the sunlight. And she's like, no, that's just silly, Grandpa. Mm-hmm. And she is, like, taking care of him as, like, now he's, like, returned from the dead.
Yeah.
And he wants to go to, like, De La Guardia to be like, how do I reverse this? Like, what happened
mm-hmm.
to me?
He wants to find those pages.
He wants to find the pages to just find out what's going on. He's like, is this permanent? Is this mm-hmm. a thing where it's like, it's going to wear off? Is this a thing where I'm just like this forever? Like, what's going on?
Do I need more blood? Is it going to, kind of restore what I used to look like? Mm-hmm. Can the Cronos device change me back?
Yes. And he finally gets to, we get to that third act. Because, again, this part of the movie that I think is a little... I guess maybe not, it's not bad by any stretch of the imagination. It's just a lot slower. Like, mm-hmm. this is where the tonal shift changes and perspective changes.
Yeah.
Where for a lot of the movie, we're with Jesus. And mm-hmm. then this part of the movie, we are now with, like, Aurora a lot more. Mm-hmm. And that perspective shift kind of threw me a little bit, probably until, like, that third act finale. And that's where I kind of, like, rounded back to it. Mm-hmm. Because... Jesus and Aurora, they go to De La Guardia and they want their stuff, and there's like the big fight mm-hmm. between a vampire and a cripple.
Well, it's an old man fight.
An old man, the best kind of fights. Yeah. Almost reminds me a little bit of Giant. They're just slugging it out.
But it's two old dudes.
Two old dudes.
One old, one undead.
One old, one older than the other. He's been dead for like days now.
Yeah.
And De La Guardia dies. And then Angel comes in, and he's just like, Uncle, you're dead. Oh, my word. Oh, this is such a wonderfully tragic day.
He's about to start tap dancing.
And I'm convinced if Jesus just, like, didn't punch Angel, they could have walked out of there. Angel would have been like, dude, Jesus, right here, brother, right here. Dap it up. You have yourself a great day. Aurora, awesome kid. You have a good one too. It would have been fine. But they attack Angel because I guess they assume he's gonna defend his uncle.
Yeah.
They assumed wrong. And Angel is now like, oh, I guess it's on. And they fight on... It's like a billboard? Or, it's on the top of the...
It's the marquee on the building. They're fighting on top of the building.
Yeah, they're fighting on top of the building. And I like this fight. Because Ron Perlman and... it's not Francisco. It's...
What, the actor?
Yeah, the actor.
I think it's Federico?
Federico.
Yeah.
Ron Perlman and Federico... They're very game. This is a very fun, stunty action fight on top of this building. I like it. I might just be the thing where it's like a nice mix of like schlocky 80s fight scenes right before like the kung fu 90s stuff comes in. You know, The Matrix ruins fight scenes in cinema. Hot take here. But they have the big fight. It ends. Jesus is now like, well, I mean,
you're missing the best part because
what's the best part?
Because Aurora's up there with them, and
Yes.
he's trying to get Aurora to go, down to ground level because she's got the Cronos device, but also he doesn't want her, where she could be injured or killed. So he's like, well, I gotta distract Angel somehow. Then he runs and takes him off the building, and they like crash through this.
It's like the glass roof of the skylight.
Yeah, a skylight. But it's just, it took me back to like WWF days, going through the top of the cage, and I'm like, oh my God, they're dead. They're dead. Oh my God.
He's broken in half.
And I was just like, wow, that was great. And then like they are actually dead. Aurora gets down there and like, okay, they're both just gone because that is a huge fall. They land on, equipment and whatever they're working on in there.
Yeah, Angel is 100% dead.
Yeah.
And then Jesus, because the living dead, the undead, you might say, he gets up and...
Well, I mean, he gets up because Aurora knows to put the Cronos device on him.
Yes.
And I guess that wakes him up or, gives his heart some new blood to...
It gives him a jump start.
Yeah.
And this is when I think Jesus realizes his fate.
Yeah, that, it's not death, it's just pain.
Yes. It's what is it? It's not immortality, it's eternity. And that's the thing where being immortal, it's like, oh, I'm impervious to this or that. It's like, that's not what this is. It's eternity. It's like, I can still feel all the pain. I'm still gonna get hurt and beat up. I'm gonna go on forever. And the other part about the vampirism is he's gonna have to like kill and eat people and drink blood, and he's not that. He can't do that.
And the LaGuardia lets it slip that you could destroy the Cronos device and ultimately that'll kill you. That'll end your sentence.
Yeah, well, it's the thing. I assume once you destroy the Cronos device, your body, you can't regenerate. You can't regenerate. You can't get another hit.
Yeah.
And you just fade away. And that's
what
happens.
During that, where he learns that information, skin's coming off of his face because he had the cuts from the car accident, and it's just, he's like, yeah, just pull the skin away, but it's like it doesn't regenerate. It's just exposed. And
and it's like this marbling underneath it. He turns almost to look like a living statue.
Yeah. So it's this thing of, once Aurora brings him back and he's got this gash in his gut and he's able to like fit his hand in there, and Aurora's just kind of like, that's the first time we see a real emotion out of her.
Where she's shocked by that.
Where she's shocked by what she's seeing. And he's kind of seeing like, yeah, I can't live like this, where I'm just, basically falling to pieces for eternity.
Well, the other thing is there's probably that thought in his head of, if I keep going, then I not only sentence myself to this, I sentence Aurora to taking care of me forever. Because he's like, I can't go outside. I'm going to live forever. She's going to grow old.
And he almost bites her.
It's the thing where I believe he destroys the Cronos device because he loves Aurora too much to hurt her. And he destroys the Cronos device. We fade over. He's lying in bed. His wife comes in. Aurora's there. And he passes and the big, beautiful, bright lights and credits roll. It's a very heartwarming, or not heartwarming. It's a very somber, but like emotional, resonant ending.
It's satisfying because, you know, he's having this great moment with his wife at the dance, and you could tell that because of the Cronos device, it's kind of sparked him. So he, you know, he feels like a much younger man, feels more vibrant, and his wife, you know, when they have that first interaction when he shaves, and she's just kind of like, this is, you know, the Jesus that I know, not the, okay, well, I got to go to town and open my shop. And
she had that moment of like, there's the man I married.
Yeah, and you could tell that she's younger than him.
Yeah.
So it's like you could see, you know, where it's kind of like, oh, he's kind of hit that peak of, you know, just my routine, and very calm too, you know, now he's back and he's got a little bit of pep in his step.
He's got that fire back in him.
So that's why it's so sad that they have that New Year's Eve dance and they're so, you know, engaged with each other, and people are trying to talk to her and she's like, no, you know, I'm with my husband right now. I don't want to, you know, I'll talk to you later. And then to have him die the way that he dies. So once we go back, circle back to the very ending where he gets to go home and he gets to die in his bed with his wife next to him and his granddaughter next to him, like that's the perfect way to end a tragedy like this.
And that's the thing. It's the classical idea of a tragedy, right? Because basically everyone dies. You know, the villains, the heroes, everyone dies. You know, the only people left alive are the ones who have to like live with the memory, right? And that's like the gist of Cronos. But I guess my question to you is, did you like it?
Oh, I really enjoyed it.
You really enjoyed it?
Yeah.
Did it remind you of anybody you might know?
Did it remind me of my grandpa? Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Did it make me cry? No. Even though you want me to cry for some reason, you're like, did it make you cry?
Did
it? And I was just like, no, it didn't.
Yeah. Well, I wanted to say that because I noticed this when I started the movie at the beginning when he has the mustache and everything. I'm like,
yes, he looks like my grandfather.
He looks just like your granddad. I'm like, if you trim a little bit off the top,
yes, if you give him the cul-de-sac, that is my grandfather.
So if you ever wonder what Boo's grandfather looks like, he looks like Federico Lupi. Just balled him up a little bit.
It's a little bit.
Exactly. But yeah. I guess we already answered one of the questions. Is the movie scary? Not really.
No.
It's more funny than scary, and it's more trying to pull on like your heartstrings than even being funny. Yeah. I feel like the whole ending of the movie is Del Toro trying to get an emotional response out of you.
Yeah, because I mean, this is something that Jesus wanted. He wasn't searching for immortality.
It fell in his lap.
He was just going about, you know, his everyday life. He was a good grandfather. You know, I don't know what their schedule was, but just, you know, that opening sequence of taking his granddaughter to the shop with him and having things to do with her there, you know, setting up hopscotch in the middle of the store so she can play, finding ways so that she could be, you know, entertained throughout his entire workday. I'm like, he was a good grandfather.
Yeah. Solid grandpa.
You know, he wasn't like De La Guardia that was, you know, I'm dying from whatever ailments. I need immortality. Who knows how long I've been looking for this Cronos device. It's been, you know, my lifelong mission to find it. I need it. I want it, even though I know what it's going to do to me.
It's kind of like that parallel. De La Guardia is growing old and reaching the end of his life, and he is angry. He's angered by it. He is vindictive. He wants to live forever because he knows that when he dies, no one will mourn him. And Jesus, he's nearing the end of his life, and he's gifted to immortality and all this other stuff, but he's like very okay passing on because he knows he'll leave behind people who will care about him.
That, and he's also enjoying the day-to-day.
Yeah. He's I guess that's the thing. He's not suffering, I guess, in the way that De La Guardia is suffering, right? Because it's very vague what De La Guardia is.
We don't know what he has.
I just like how he's like, seeing this is half of my body, and it's like literal like pickle jars of like organs just in this glass case, and I'm like, what kind of cancer would it take out that many organs? And also, how are you still walking? I'm like, there's shit in there that you should not be walking, sir. Even on 2 canes. That man walks with 2 canes.
I don't know. I feel like he's bullshitting a lot of that.
You're just like, actually, just hemorrhoids. That's all it is. This is all just an act, really.
It's a man cold.
It's, oh God, you love man colds.
Oh God,
you love them, love everything about them. But talking a little bit about like that theming, right? Jesus is almost growing old with grace, and De La Guardia is trying to cling on to the youth or like that immortality. There's also a big part of the movie where there's a lot of religious stuff in it. I mean, no joke, like all things aside, the main character's name is Jesus. He dies and comes back to life in 3 days. You know, it's not a really big reach here.
And then you have a fallen angel that's fighting against him.
Yeah, literally, fallen angel fighting against him. They're looking for something that gives eternal life, so that you can live after death. And Del Toro described himself at the time of filming. I have no idea what he believes in now, but at the time of filming, he viewed himself as a closeted atheist.
I think he's still an atheist now.
Is he?
I think so.
Yeah, because that's the thing. He is somebody who I guess is an atheist. But he grew up in a very Roman Catholic world society, and because Mexico, if you don't know, is a very, very Catholic country.
I did not.
Wouldn't even have crossed my mind.
Yeah.
Very Catholic country, and his grandmother, who I guess like lived with him and who kind of like raised him a bit.
Yeah.
She was a hardcore Catholic, like very
Wouldn't know
Catholic.
about a grandmother that's very, very Catholic.
Who would have thought?
Yeah.
And she's who this film is dedicated to at the end.
Yeah, because I think she passed during the filming.
That sounds about right. I don't know, the timeline is a little weird because she either passed like right before the film went into production or like right at the end of production. But that sounds right. But he makes the film kind of reflecting this like rejection of the Catholic mythology and kind of his recontextualization of faith, Jesus, all that stuff. Do you think this comes across as like an anti-religious film? Because I did notice this at the end of the film when Jesus is like dying, there's no crosses, there's no religious symbology in that room, which I thought was interesting.
You thought it was interesting because you assume all our houses are filled with crosses and stuff?
Yeah, I'd imagine.
I mean, don't be casting stones at the way my grandma used to decorate. Crosses everywhere.
Was there a cross in every room?
Yeah. I mean, she did have a gallon of holy water behind the TV.
Just in case?
Just in case.
Just in case?
I'm not sure what she was waiting for, but she had a gallon of it ready to go.
Just on the off chance it came in handy.
Yeah, just in case.
But I guess...
yeah, I mean, it doesn't surprise me too much because, I mean, some people just don't have their home, covered in religious decor.
Well, okay, I guess that particular thing is so much a thing I noticed. My bigger question is, do you think it comes off as a film that's anti-Catholicism? Do you think that comes off? It uses a lot of the symbology, but the end conclusions of the film don't very much line up with like Catholic belief.
I don't know.
It's a weird one, right?
It is weird because I mean, it doesn't feel like it's anti-Catholic. It just feels like
he's dealing a lot in like Catholic imagery and
because I mean
nomenclature, right?
Because we're Jesus and he passed and he rises again in 3 days. Yeah, you could see that symbolism in it.
He's fighting literally Angel, who is like
the
bad guy.
You can see it, yeah.
They find eternal life in the Archangel Michael.
Yeah. So it's like, I can see it, but I don't think it's anti-Catholic.
You don't think it's anti-Catholic?
No, I mean, did you want like a priest there when he was, passing? No, I think Jesus went the way that he would want to go after everything he experienced. I think he went the way that he would want to go at home beside the people that he loved.
I see. Well, again, that's the thing where I think the ending of the movie is like that giveaway, right? Where maybe it's not anti-Catholic per se, but it's Del Toro reframing priorities of people of this, right? Where when you're dying, you want to be surrounded by the people who cared about you and loved you, and you probably if you're dying, you probably don't want to just a priest and a cross around you. That might be something he's trying to get to, because I think that's what he's trying to really hone in on.
Well, I mean, I don't think, everybody, that's passed, oh, I'm passing and there's, a priest and a cross, a lot of people would probably find that comforting, knowing that that's, okay, I'm going into the next step that I've been practicing my entire life.
No, I understand that, but I think this is specifically because this is the Del Toro worldview at the time, where, I mean, I think he said before, right? His Jesus is Frankenstein.
Yeah, his Jesus is Boris Karloff.
His Jesus,
Frankenstein.
Is Boris Karloff Frankenstein, and that's a whole other thing where he finds faith and this like transcendence through cinema, and specifically through these like monsters, right?
Again, I would know nothing about that.
Nothing. No, what does a woman know? But that's the thing. I think that's what Del Toro is really getting at, is he basically recreates Jesus Christ as a vampire. Yeah. And then goes through his death, resurrection, all that other stuff, and is like,
but he still does good.
He still does good.
He's a vampire, but it's like, no, he's still doing good. He's still protecting children. He's still very much woven into his family. I think so. It's like, it's very different from vampires that we've seen in cinema, where it's just like, no, blood bags and, carnage. And it's like, no, Jesus is still very much, I got to take care of my family.
Yes, because I think that's what Del Toro's getting at. I think he's more of like a humanist.
Yeah.
And I think that's what the film is really working on. And that even gets onto the next thing, right? Because this is Del Toro's first film, right? Usually a director's first film is he or she discovering their style. Maybe there's like broad strokes of stuff in there that will come up later. We watched Assault on Precinct 13, John Carpenter's very first theatrically released film. I guess technically Dark Star's before that, but that was a student film. Longer, whatever. Assault on Precinct 13.
Yeah.
Watching Assault on Precinct 13, there's a lot of stuff in there that shows up later on, but you probably couldn't watch Assault on Precinct 13 and then watch something like Ghosts of Mars and been like, same guy.
Yeah.
1-to-1. Do you think what do you think Del Toro's first film shows about his style? Do you think there's a lot of like, oh, Del Toro kind of figured it out in the first go, or do you think there's still development coming on? Because you've seen Frankenstein, his most recent one.
Yeah, I've seen his most recent one. We have Michael in Frankenstein as well.
Yes.
He makes a return, so that's why as soon as we started this movie, I'm like, oh my God.
You're like, I've seen that statue before.
I've seen it. Well, I mean, yeah, I've really seen that statue before. Yeah. But, yeah, I think the things that Del Toro has seen in his life have influenced him in such a way that he brings it with him onto every project. And doesn't matter how different the movie is, Del Toro's presence is felt in every movie. You know that this is a Del Toro movie.
Yeah.
Versus other directors where, it's like, really? That person made this movie and this movie? It's kind of like Tim Burton, where you could feel like, oh, this is a Tim Burton movie. Yeah. It looks like it. It has the feeling of it. They're very stylized directors.
He has an aesthetic.
Yes.
Right? Where, Tim Burton is inspired by those German expressionists and all that. I feel like Del Toro's work definitely comes in on that. I think I said dark fantasy at one point. For some reason that I hear dark fantasy and that just reminds me of things like Pan's Labyrinth or Hellboy, or I think of a lot of Del Toro movies, right? And Cronos almost falls into that where, oh, okay, the monster's the good guy.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's a Del Toro thing. Oh, there's a lot of like the weird clockwork mechanisms. Okay, that's a Del Toro thing that shows up in a lot of his movies.
Oh, the creatures are good and the people are bad.
Yes, the creatures are good, people are bad. There's also the whole, I guess, the idea that you can always find redemption kind of thing, no matter your lot in life, you know, that comes up in a lot of his movies. And I feel like there's a lot here that is stuff he's figured out. Like, I think he's comes out as a pretty developed and fully formed storyteller and a filmmaker. And that's going to probably continue on for the rest of his movies. I mean, we're going to get to a couple of them that I've never seen and you've never seen. So for all we know, there might be some shitters in here, like total garbage, but we'll find out.
Or they might all be bangers. We don't know.
They might all be bangers. But I guess my question, or my almost last question, second to last question.
Because, I mean, you keep saying this over and over, and I'm like, these are a lot of last questions.
I know. It's my catchphrase. You pull my string. Oh, this is my last question. Let me ask you 4 more. The movie, you liked it? Any negative parts about it? Anything you disliked?
Just licking the blood off the floor. That's a big no-no.
Licking the blood off the floor, big no-no?
Yeah.
Favorite part? These are the hard questions.
It's got to be that opening sequence with him and Aurora in the antique store.
It's just warm and nice.
Yeah, they don't have to talk. They have a routine. They enjoy each other's company. That's all they really need.
It's a beautiful sequence.
Yeah.
All right. Well, are you excited for Del Toro's next movie we shall be seeing?
I am. What are we watching next week?
Next week? Well, next 2 weeks? I don't know.
Yeah.
The next episode.
Yes.
We'll be watching his first American film.
Okay.
Produced by Miramax.
Okay.
Mimic from 1997.
Never seen it.
Neither have I, and I hear interesting things. But if you wanted to watch that version that we're going to watch, I believe we're going to be watching the director's cut, because that's the one Del Toro actually likes. Apparently the theatrical cut is garbage.
Okay.
But we will decide if his taste in versions actually warrants it. But if they wanted to watch that, where can they go?
If you want to watch that, I don't know. You tell me where you watch it.
Well, where do you want to listen to it?
But if you want to listen to us talk about Mimic, you can listen to us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, and our YouTube channel, The Film Vault.
That's right. You can watch us at The Film Vault. That is The Film Vault on YouTube, because the Film Club was taken. And you can see our lovely faces as we talk about these movies. You can see also the 200 plus episodes on our back catalog, and like, comment, subscribe there. Let us know what we're doing wrong, and send us presents. But if you wanted to find out what else we're doing, you can go to
the Film Club Podcast on Instagram, where we post upcoming episodes, guests that are going to be joining us for episodes, random adventures we go on, like, I don't know, a Hollywood premiere or conventions.
You might have heard about that last week.
Possibly. So yeah, if you want to follow us on Instagram, give us a follow, and we like to post a lot of memes too, so it's the place to go.
It is the place to go. And with that,
we'll see you next time at the Film Club.
Have a good week, everybody.